Welcome to another amazing episode of Suave and Sassy Seniors with Sonya. On these shows, we highlight seniors living their best life. Many people feel as we age, we fade, but that's not so. As we age, we gain wisdom and we begin to live our best lives. So on this show, we have seniors that have retired, started new careers, wrote books, nonprofits, doing things in the community that we thought that we couldn't do. Today, I have an amazing guest. This is a near and dear situation to my heart. I have Dr. Parson. She's a dentist out of Ohio. Welcome to the show, Dr. Parson.
Hi, I'm glad to be here. How are
Thank
you
you.
today?
I'm amazing. How are you?
Good. I'm good. Although I'm looking out the window and that there's a nasty storm moving across the country and it's going out on outside my window right now. So I'm glad you're in Florida and it's nice there.
Yeah, we get our tricky seasons, but it's nice right now. But thank you for joining. I met Dr. Parson at the Do retreat. Ann Duffy has an amazing Do retreat every year, and we have to change tables throughout the event, and I changed tables and got at a table next to Dr. Parson, and she and I were able to talk and share some things, and I asked her to be a guest on the show. Um, this show is near to my heart because I have a son that suffers from mental illness. And it's mental illness. If anybody out there who has anybody in their family that suffer from mental illness, it takes you through a lot. It takes the family through a lot. And not even the family, the individual. So I was sharing my story with Dr. Parson because sometimes people who suffer from mental illness, they try to self-medicate um, with with um, with street drugs, and that has happened to my son, and he's in a situation right now. But God has blessed him, and he's getting the help that he needs. But so many families don't have that opportunity. So many families lose loved ones, and with the opioid addiction in our country right now, it's really bad. So this talk is very vulnerable to me. You know, this is my oldest son. He made me a mother. So um, I love all my kids, but this is my firstborn. So, Dr. Parson, could you share whatever you feel comfortable sharing with me and our audience to help us along the way?
Sure. As Sonia said, I'm Dr. Sharon Parsons. I am a dentist in Columbus, Ohio. I still practice. Um, my I have two boys. My older son, when he was in college, called me during finals week and told me he wanted to go ride dirt bikes with a friend. And, as a mother, I, of course, told him, don't go do that. You're going to wreck. You're going to hurt yourself. You can't finish your finals. That's not a good thing to do. But being a boy, he did it anyway. And just like his mom said, he wrecked, he hurt himself. He didn't want me to know what happened. So he didn't go to the ER, didn't go to urgent care. He was living off campus, and a guy in the house next to him handed him 4 pills and told him, take these, it'll get you through your finals, you'll be fine. And apparently it did get him through his finals. And unfortunately, he liked them and he went back for more. And that led to, and they ended up being Oxycontin. And that ended up as an opioid addiction. And anyone who's dealt with anyone who suffers from addiction knows that it is just a horrible disease. So after 5 years of in and out of rehab and ups and downs and twists and turns, we thought that he was doing very well. He was in a toxic relationship with a girl. He had finally gotten himself to a point where he had gotten a decent job. And actually, when he was clean, he did fine. He graduated from college. But anyway, I had agreed to let him come and live with me. And he'd moved part of his things in. He wanted to go back for one last night with a girlfriend. I begged him not to. He did it anyway. It was on a Sunday evening. About 4 o'clock Monday morning, the police knocked on my door to tell me that my son had died of an opioid overdose, which is what every parent fears that has a child suffering that way. I waited to call my mother because I didn't want to wake her with that kind of news. So I waited until about 6 or 6:30. I called her. She came over to be with me. And about 2 hours after she got here, she collapsed in my kitchen and died. So I think that qualifies as a really bad day. I decided right away that I could approach this in two ways because I'd seen patients who lost children and loved ones. And they either seemed to really kind of pick themselves up and be really strong or drop into the abyss. And I did not want to drop into the abyss. So I made it my mission to be strong and to live for both of us. So I have started a nonprofit called A Voice for Sean, and my son's name was Sean. And this nonprofit helps to educate people, especially prescribers, dental prescribers and medical prescribers, about opioids and about addiction, because people don't understand just how easily it happens. I have been instrumental in getting Ohio to reduce the amount of opioids that are allowed to be prescribed with acute pain. That's with someone who has something like a tooth pulled or someone who has a medical procedure, and their pain is not going to last for a very long time. It maybe lasts for 2 days to 7 days. So I've really worked to get that done. You see my dog in the background, Bear. So the nonprofit I've done a lot of public speaking all over Ohio. I just did a webinar for the American Dental Association where I guess now more than 800 people have attended. I've come up with informational cards to have in offices that might prescribe, say an orthopedic surgeon, an oral surgeon, a dentist. And what I want people to know, and I have some facts on there, I want people to realize that between the ages of 13 and 26, if exposed to an opioid, they are 5 times more likely to become addicted. And that's huge. 5 times is huge. And genetics plays a huge part in that. So my son was right in that sweet spot, right in that age when he was exposed to that opioid. And what people don't realize is they may say, well, I only prescribed a few pills, they'll be fine. I never got anyone addicted. You never know if you were that first taste that caused someone to go back for more. And what a lot of people don't realize, and especially older people, is that many times the first taste of an opioid is something they got out of someone's medicine cabinet. So, if you take opioids or if you had been given opioids by your doctor and, you have a bottle left, you don't use them, you need to find a safe way to dispose of them. You don't keep them in your medicine cabinet where somebody else can find them. If you're using them, keep them someplace safe where no one can get to them that shouldn't be getting them. And if you're not using them and you just have them sitting around, then they have drug disposal bags, which you just put the pills in, you put a little bit of water and you seal it up and it renders the pills ineffective. They have drug take-back programs at police stations, at fire stations. Sometimes a community will do it. What you don't want to do is throw them down the toilet and flush them because that puts them in the water system and then we're all taking that. But I've made it my mission to try to save other families from the pain that my family went through.
Wow. Well, first of all, thank you for sharing. And you suffered what no mother ever wants to suffer. So
Yes.
thank you for being so vulnerable. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for taking the action. So
Yeah.
from what happened with your son, you're helping other mothers never have to go through and experience what you experienced. And thank you for making the cards up and just doing the education part behind all of this. I thank you for that, because I don't know if I would have had the heart to be able to do that. But you took your pain and turned it into a power, into something positive to help other people. This opioid addiction in our country is something that we all have to deal with. I don't know any person that can't think in their mind someone in their family that has been affected by someone that's on some sort of drug, whether it's prescription prescribed or recreational. So thank you, Dr. Parson, for being a part of the change. And thank you for being brave enough to share. One
Oh, you're
thing,
welcome.
and I know that now your son's death is not in vain. And I couldn't even imagine telling my mother and then my mother falling dead. So that did qualify for a bad day.
Yeah,
Yeah, bless your
and
heart.
that definitely qualified for a bad thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something. But thank you for sharing, and thank you for even having the power to overcome and be here today. And on our show, we always ask people to leave us a golden nugget. This whole show was a nugget because you've educated us on something that we all have to be aware of. The takeaway for me is for people who have medicines that they're not using anymore, because kids go to their grandmother's house, their aunt's house, and they go in the cabinet and they experiment, and that's a lot of addiction. So that's a great nugget. So if you have anything in your cabinets, don't think they don't see it. When you sleep, kids don't sleep. They plunder. That's an old person word, plundering. That means they look through stuff. So just in case the millennials on here don't know what plundering is, my grandmother used to say, don't be plundering in my kitchen. That's when you're going through their stuff. So children look through things. So give us your nugget, and they're going to let you go. But Doc, thank you for sharing.
Oh, I think my nugget is that no one wants to be addicted to a drug. People for a long time have thought that anyone addicted is a bad person. It's a stain on their character. But as we show when I speak, it is a disease. It has a disease of the brain, as there are other diseases of the brain. So I think we need to get rid of the stigma. We need to talk about it. And if you have someone in your family that is suffering from the disease of addiction, don't be ashamed. Try to get them help and talk about it. The longer we don't talk about it, the more it stays a problem and it's not ever going to find a solution. So thank you.
Thank you for your nugget. Thank you, Doc, for being here. So if someone wanted to be a part or to donate to your nonprofit, what is the name of it? Sean?
A voice for Sean. And
A
Sean is
voice.
spelled Sean. A voice for Sean.
And we'll have it in the link below if someone wants to
Okay.
donate to be a part of making a change, to donate to a voice for Sean. Thank you, Mother, for giving Sean a voice even after he's transitioned from here. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you all
You're
for being
welcome.
here. Stay safe and stay courageous. From Sonya, the geriatric tooth fairy. Bye.